Hi everyone. In this screencast I'll be talking about the reasons why you would critique an article. Obviously for most of you at the moment the only reason you'd critique a research article is because you need to do it for your assignment. Okay, so the aims of this screencast is just to discuss the importance of critiquing research and why, as registered nurses, we need to do that. So to critique it means a careful, complete examination of a study, to judging its strengths and weaknesses, meaning and significance. Or the process of objectively, critically and analytically reading a research report's content for scientific merit and application to practice or theory. And that second definition in Jirija Wong et al. 2011 is really important because effectively the reason we critique research is to check its readiness for practice. So the reason people research for many reasons, but the reason that clinicians read research and critique research is to understand whether it is able to be used in their context or not. Okay, so, and a critique really is a systematic way of objectively reviewing the piece of research in front of you. And really what you're doing is highlighting the strengths, weaknesses, and how it can be used in practice. You need to be able to think about, and particularly as you become a registered nurse, you need to be able to think about and identify best current practice as one of the three pillars of what goes to make up evidence-based practice, and the other two, as you know, are clinical expertise and patient values. So the reason that you need to critique is so that you need to know what is best available evidence to be able to put into that mix of evidence-based practice, so that when you speak to your patient you can say, well, the best available evidence is this. Okay, so it's a very useful skill to be able to do. And I hope you'll continue to do it in your professional practice. So why do we need to do it? I mean, obviously you're doing it for an assignment, but primarily we need to do it so it promotes student learning, and I think you will find you learn a lot about you will learn both about the type of the research you're looking at, but also about research methodologies and research processes in general. Okay, as I mentioned before, you're evaluating the research reports to determine if they're able to be used in practice and to update your skills, because they change over time, and as technology changes we need to update our skills. Also, we need to think about things like if you end up joining an association, say you go into critical care or something like that, and you join the Critical Care Nurses Association or another association where they have a journal that is published by the association but needs peer reviewers, you would need to be able to critique research to be part of that review team. And doing that sort of review work is something that is considered alongside other things when you go for promotions, say if you want to become an educator or CNC or CNS. Okay. You also want to have the skills to fully participate in multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary team meetings. So you know, there's lots and you may have already as students been associated with going to team meetings where you're doing a case there, and there's a whole lot of different professions, and you have social workers, you have doctors, you have physios, you've got a range of doctors, and you've got nurses there. Okay, so to be able to understand what the latest research says, you need some of the terms and to be able to understand research. It's also to maintain professional competence. And as you know, it's required for the board that ANMAC requires us to give, to have a research subject in our degree, because the competencies, the registered nurse competencies require you through the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia, require you to have the capacity to be able to read and consume research and participate in research, and they are in the they're in the old competencies, and they're also in the updated competencies. So the process of critiquing, first of all, you're going to read through the article a couple of times for meaning. Now there are going to be several things that you don't know. So you may not know words, you may not know the statistics if it's a quantitative article, and that's okay. At this point, you want to be stopping after, maybe in the second read, and looking up words and taking notes of those words so that you understand what that means. So for example, if you see that your study is a correlational study, you need to go and look up in your text or in the library, what does that mean, and what is a correlational study. You need to understand what the elements of that sort of study might be, and what are the expectations of how that methodology would run. Okay, so then you're going to read in detail several times, asking questions, and we've talked about that, and there's further videos on that about what you should be doing. But effectively, you're looking to check for rigor, reliability, degree of representativeness, those sort of things, and validity, things like that. And in qualitative articles, you're looking for trustworthiness, credibility, that sort of thing. Okay, and you do that through rigor of the methodology. So how they kept to their chosen methodology. Okay, so you need to ask specific questions about different parts. Now, you'll find in the modules that there are a number of links to some resources on how to critique research articles, and some questions in there. So use those if you're not really sure. There are also some in your text, so you can use them as well. Build your notes into logical arguments, so you need to separate them obviously by the sections. So you might have a section on the title and abstract at the beginning, then you'd have a section on the literature review, methodology, ethics, sample analysis, discussion and conclusion, and then limitations. So you might have those sections depending on what is in your article. And remember, as I've said in another video, that the headings in your journal article are usually determined by the journal style. So the journal tells you what you have to have. Okay, you can use critique tools or articles, and there's a few of them in the module, so check for those. Okay, well, I hope this has been of help to help you understand why we need to critique and what the first steps are in preparation of your assignment.